A lot of our clients who come to see us are business people that have corporations. And corporations have been around for hundreds of years. And corporations are good because they can protect certain assets from being seized if the company gets sued. And in fact, the way a corporation works is if the company gets sued, the plaintiff, the creditor, can get the assets of the company, but typically they can't get outside the company and get into the assets of the owners themselves, the personal assets of the owners. So if I run ABC Widget Factory and somebody gets hurt with one of our widgets, I may lose everything I have in the company, but theoretically, the plaintiff can't get out of the widget company and into my personal stock account that I have with a stockbroker, or a bank account that I've got with a banker, or a home or rental property. They can't get those. So that's called inside liability. The problem, the lawsuit stays inside that company, and corporations work that way, and frankly, LLCs work that way. So LLCs and corporations both work the same when it comes to inside liability. With a really big difference with corporations and LLCs is from outside liability. Now, outside liability isn't a problem caused by the company. Nobody got hurt by our widget. It's just the owner of the company or a shareholder of the company just driving down the street and maybe ends up in a car wreck and maybe hurts a pedestrian or a bicyclist or frankly kills somebody. Maybe it could be an accident in their home, who knows? But it's not connected to the business, it's connected to a shareholder of the corporation. And if that happens, and the corporation is owned by one of those people again, then the stock that that person owns can be seized and given to the plaintiff because of the injury the stockholder caused to this plaintiff. Well, now, let's look at it. The stockholder just lost their stock in the company. Who owns that company now? The plaintiff, and maybe the plaintiff's lawyer owns the company now, not the shareholder, not the family that started it, not the family that's stressed about it, not the family that woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning worried how they're going to make payroll, and now they've got to the company to the point where they don't have to worry about that. They won't own it in some respects because the plaintiff or the plaintiff's lawyer may own the whole thing. Obviously, nobody wants that. So an LLC is a way to avoid that. An LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. Doesn't mean much, it's a very powerful technique. The difference in a corporation and limited liability company, when somebody is hurt outside the company, we have outside liability, is that in fact the plaintiff doesn't get to seize the ownership interest of the person who caused the wreck. They don't get to anything. They get what's called a charging order, but a charging order is nothing but kind of a lien against the ownership interest in the company. And the lien, the charging order says if the company ever distributes money to the person who caused the wreck, the owner of the company, then in fact the company doesn't give it to the owner, the company has to give it to the plaintiff who was hurt. Well, who's in charge of the company? Well, virtually 100% of the time it's again the person who caused the wreck. And they're not going to distribute money out of it. They knew they had to give it to the plaintiff, so what does the plaintiff get? Nothing. Nothing. And what that does is it drives down the settlement value of the lawsuit because the plaintiff doesn't get the ownership interest, the plaintiff just gets his lien. They can't eat the lien, they can't foreclose on the lien, they can't take the lien to the grocery store or to a hardware store, the car dealer, or make a house payment with this charging order. They need money. And we always recommend that our clients carry lots of liability insurance because, quite frankly, maybe they were at fault. Maybe they did hurt this person. We want money to pay the person who was hurt. But we want the plaintiff to take the insurance, not the company interest in the family company. So an LLC is a way to prevent the person who was hurt, rightly or wrongly, from taking the ownership interest of the company. One of the things we do here at the Weaverwell Law Firm is we convert corporations into LLCs. And if you have an S Corp, we can convert the S Corp into an S LLC. There's no taxes. If everything looks the same, sounds the same, walks the same, quacks the same, waddles the same. But the difference is, again, once we do that conversion, nobody's going to take your stock, nobody's going to take your company. If you have a C corporation, easiest thing to do is to create an LLC and put your stock in the C corporation into the LLC. You can't do that with an S, you can do that with a C. Now the LLC owns the stock. Same thing, same concept, same principle. If you cause some injury to somebody outside the company, they can't get the stock that's in the LLC. Your family is protected from this catastrophic loss that would incur if, in fact, the plaintiff did receive the stock in the company, get everything the company owns and stands for.